So you've seen two types of volumes so far, empty dir and host path. Now in here in this documentation for Kubernetes, they have the list of volumes that you can use. So let me show you. So in here, you can see that they have this type, AWS Elastic Block Store, right? So basically they say, unlike empty dir, which is erased when a pod is removed, the contents of an EBS volume are persisted and the volume is unmounted. This means that the EBS volume can be pre-populated with data and that can be shared between pods. So if you are running Kubernetes on AWS, this is how you do it. So first you need to make sure that you have the EBS. So EBS is just a block storage where you can basically just store data, right? So you can have, for example, 10 gig, 80 gig, whatever you request, right? So here they give you an example of how to create. So here the configuration is very similar. So here, have a look. You give it the name, and then here you say AWS Elastic Block Storage. If I scroll down, they talk about a few other things, but if you're running on Azure, this is how you do it. So with Azure, they actually don't have an example with Azure here, but it's very similar as well. So if I scroll down, and we're going to touch on config maps later. So you've seen empty dir, and there you have it. So they have a bunch of examples actually here. So if you're running on Google Cloud, this is how you do it. So GCE and then persistent disk, and then just like this. And it says that it has to exist for you to basically be able to mount it, right? So if I go back to VS Code in here, so if I basically where we have the volumes, so here, so I'm going to say, so name, and then AWS EBS, for example, and then here press Control and then space and have a look. So this is the list that I was telling you. So AWS Elastic Block Store, Azure Disk, Azure File, we have config map, which I'm going to show you in a second. We have empty dir, which you've seen, and here GCE, persistent disk. So this is when you're running on Google Cloud. Git repo, which has been deprecated. You can see here deprecated, and host path, which you've seen, NFS, and then we have persistent volume claims, which I'm going to teach you as well in a second. And you can see that you have quite a lot. Secrets as well. You're going to learn about secrets later, but basically these are some of the types of volumes that you can have within Kubernetes. So I've just showed you the ones that if you're running on a cloud on a cloud provider, so AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. So obviously we're not going to be able to test this because currently we're running Kubernetes on Minikube. I'm going to leave this link right here where you can see the list of all volume types and where you can learn more about them. Next, let me go ahead and talk to you about persistent volumes.